Alright, Peace and Greetings YouTubers. Alright, this is part 3. So, I was on a roll, I said let me just keep going. But okay, so in part 2 I just basically talked about how, in a long, very long rant that I'm sorry you all had to sit through, but I'm sure it was interesting. I just talked about how R&B used to be able to create a distinctive lane for themselves to the point where other genres would want to follow suit and copy what they were doing because they were that much in demand to the point where the other genres respected what they did. And I was just ranting about how that's not really the case anymore. In this video, I'm going to talk more so about how a lot of the established R&B acts and some of the new ones just don't know where they fit in within R&B or within music. And then on top of that, they don't know how to contribute to the different, environments that they do fit into. It's becoming a problem, and I think that's why so many have fallen off. So let me just go ahead and get right into it. One thing that is really killing R&B, and I've said it in both videos, is that it's just boring now. It's just dull. Okay, and I think it's dull because all the R&B acts are so focused on we gotta be genuine, we gotta be real. I'm saving R&B. I gotta do it for the whole genre because if I don't do it, nobody else can, and that's great. And I'm all for the movement, but then the album comes out, and I'm like, well, what happened? I was ready to be moved, and you didn't do nothing. As a matter of fact, I'm even madder now. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go buy a freaking some random album that's left field from R&B as can possibly be. I'm gonna go buy a freaking Toby Keith album now because I'm that mad. But the R&B acts are having a hard time, and they're forgetting the labels aren't investing in R&B anymore. R&B has fallen so far behind the wayside. The labels don't care. It's not a cash cow. It's not bringing in money. R&B acts aren't selling out arenas unless you're an established act who's already been. A Beyonce can still sell out some arenas. Okay, freaking. Who else is still... Janet can still kind of sell out arenas depending on what city she's in. Usher can sell out an arena, but the rest of the R&B acts, the Monicas, the Jasmines, the Brandys, the Trey Songz, even though actually he might be able to pull a few arenas maybe. A lot of the R&B acts aren't able to sell out these arenas. They're not bringing in millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for the labels anymore. R&B acts would be happy just to go gold. Shoot, okay? So... the labels aren't investing into the R&B acts, so the R&B acts have got to invest into their sound. And I think what's happening is the R&B acts forgot that it's more than just vocals. Okay, a lot of these R&B acts are coming out with these great vocally astounding albums. All right, case in point, I would say Monica's album. As much as I'm about to bash it, the new one, she's singing her heart out on it. All right, Tyrese, he's singing his heart out on his album. Every time Joe drops an album every 4 months, he's singing his little heart out. Jasmine. No, I'm sorry, Jasmine. No, I'm not putting Jasmine in there because I got a different story for her. But these acts are singing their little hearts out, but that's all that's coming on the album. I'm like, that's great. I love vocals, but it's more than just vocals. You got to do a whole lot. The music needs to be right. The production needs to be right. The presentation needs to be right. The image needs to be right. The marketing needs to be right. The marketing is something that kind of sometimes it's on the label because the labels just aren't investing, but you just got to learn how to make it work for you. Alright, especially some of these acts that have been in the game for 10 and 15 years. Monica, I just don't understand. You know what? Let me just get to Monica, okay? This is my beef with Monica's New Life album, alright? I love Monica. Got every single album of hers. That's why I said, I'm going to get the New Life album too. And I was so excited about it, but it's just, and it's not a bad album, but it's so forgettable that I don't remember what's on the album. I don't remember this. I know the singles, that kind of came out, but the actual album, I'm like, okay, it's just, everything is just wrong about, even the album cover's boring. I'm like, how is the album cover boring? Monica, let's take a tour. Let me get up. All right, well, let's look at this album cover. Okay, look at this. This is Attitude. This is My Name is Monica. My album is called After the Storm. Look at how she's looking. She's looking like, don't freaking mess with me. My name is Monica, and it's After the Storm. Oh, hey, Janet. It's cool that you 20YO, but I'm Monica, and it's After the Storm. Oh, hey, Anne-Marie. I'm glad because you love it and all, but hey, I'm Monica, and it's After the Storm. Oh, Brandy, you got the whole aphrodisiac thing going? Oh, okay, that's cool, but I'm Monica, and it's After the Storm. And when the storm's over, Barack Obama's going to be president. Who's mad? Okay? And hold on. Don't be looking at my apartment. Let me turn my stuff back around because I ain't cleaned up. But, as I was saying, whatchamacallit, it's just like everything about that era, which I think was her, I don't know why I'm going so hard for After the Storm because that's not even her biggest selling album. But I just feel like when she came out with After the Storm, she gave a great presentation. The music was right, the image was right. She was saying, you know what, I've had a really tough life between, the last album and this one. My boyfriend, fiance, whatever, you know, he killed himself. All the stuff has been going on. It's been pretty rough, but you know what? I made it out. Look at me, I'm doing music, I'm doing my thing. Okay? That was a great era. When she came out with The Makings of Me, which I still think is actually a really nice R&B album. I just think she had bad marketing and bad promo, so I probably shouldn't have bashed her in the last video. But, you know, it kind of did so. So Still Standing, the next album, I feel like New Life is Still Standing Part 2, but Still Standing just has better material on it. Alright, Still Standing was cool for what it was, but, you know, this new album, I'm just like, what the heck? And, it's killing me. And then when I look at Tyrese makes me really angry too, because he came to Howard's R&B concert. He talked all that mess. And you know Tyrese be on Twitter getting on everybody's nerves, always preaching and all that stuff. So I'm like, all that talk you got, I'm sure you give me a great album. And I go and buy the Tyrese album, and I'm like, okay. Typical expected material as usual. Okay, here comes the Brian Michael Cox collab, and here comes the, you know, oh God, is this another album with, you know, at this point with some of these R&B acts, you already know what you're going to expect. Of course, I'm going to get a song about picking up the pieces, a song about starting all over again, some song about how my heart's been broken, and that's great, but the song would just be so dry and dull, it's like, whatever. But on top of that, now they're singing their hearts out on the song. They're just singing and singing and singing and riffing and running and jumping and doing hurdles, and it's great vocally, but it's like that's the only thing they're able to offer. I'm like, you gotta give us more. That's why nobody's looking to you guys, because you guys are boring. And in this day and age where America is so dumbed down that we don't even need you to know how to sing anymore to be like, hell, I can make it in the music industry at this point. Give me some freaking auto-tune and I go, oh girl, yeah, and put a little dance beat to it, and I just bust out some old 8 counts or whatever, and do my thing or whatever. Maybe take a shirtless pic and maybe have a sex tape and getting a few Twitter wars and stuff. I can be an entertainer. So singing at this point isn't even important. So I'm like, that's great that you all know how to sing, because that's what I need you to do. I'm all for vocals, but you have to have a great cohesive album. Nobody's coming out with these cohesive albums anymore. Everybody's just giving me a bunch of songs that all sound the same tempo. They're boring. Nobody cares. And then the songs aren't even radio friendly. The radio don't even want to play them. The radio's like, no. So the radio ends up playing the same freaking R&B songs, if they play R&B, from 2 and 3 years ago. I can guarantee every single morning when I go on to when I'm going to work or whatever, you turn on the radio, I bet you I am going to freaking hear Luther Vandross, can I take you out tonight? Like, come on, people. And I love Luther, but I'm just saying, the R&B acts today are so dry that the radio jockeys are like, we don't really want to play your new material because it's not doing anything for us. So I just need these R&B acts to get together. And I'm looking at somebody like R. Kelly, who's now doing the cruise ship R&B. I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's great that you want to go back in time and stuff, but okay, I'll leave you alone, R. Kelly, because you produce. I just don't understand how you produce all these great R&B classics in the 90s and early 2000s, and now you're giving me cruise ship entertainment that's so watered down. I'm like, what the heck happened? All right, so I just need the R&B acts to understand. You have to give us more than just the basics. There's more to great R&B than just singing. All right. The lyrics got to be together. The presentation. This is why I look at somebody like Brandy. I think she's very smart in her marketing campaign for this 211 album. All right, she is somebody who is very well known in the internet world and in the R&B head world about her great stellar vocals and the stuff that she can do vocally. And even people are really starting to get into her albums years later. But she understands that she's not in 1998 anymore. She's not going to be able to just put a song and give it to radio and it's going to shoot to #1. She doesn't have the sitcoms and the Barbie dolls and the arena tours anymore. She figured out the formula. She said, you know what? I'm not the same artist I used to be as to the masses, if they even remember who I am. I have to come out with something that's at least going to give me some exposure. So what does she do? She gives you Put It Down, which is, it's urban. It's not Euro pop dance. Good job, Brandy. High five. Or whatever. But, you know, it's urban, and what does she do? She says, you know, radio probably won't play me by myself. Let me put Chris Brown on here. He's been having a great run with radio. You put Chris Brown on it, all right, there's just enough kick to it, just enough instruments missing enough for the, you know, just enough instruments missing so the dumb people will get into the song, because, you know, people don't like music anymore. So the song, you know, is doing enough to the point where once it finally peaks, it'll be a great little gateway or window for her next single, if it's correct. I heard the next song, The Wildest Dreams. I think it's a great song. I don't know how it's going to do on radio, though. But her little setup for what she's doing right now is going to set her up for a possible, you know, fairly decent little album run. If the singles don't do anything, the album will at least, you know, there's a possibility she may have a gold album on her hand. And I just need the R&B acts to get it together, all right? Let me stop rambling. I need to go to bed. But that's basically it for now. I'll do part 4 later when I figure out what I'm going to talk about, but there's a whole lot more I want to get into. I'm rambling, so have a good day.